people were crazy about crypto because that time the Bitcoin went through like 5K to like 30K. So like all the students like really crowded to the professor and to all kinds of like the student club events and trying to learn something about Bitcoin. And we started this like the university tour thing last year. We did like twice, like in the first half 24 and the second half 24, and we went through like all the the major universities, West Coast and East Coast, to spread out the the crypto information, the insights, and provide the job opportunities, and do all kinds of growth for the wallets and the mainnets. So this year, at this moment, I have to say it's not the best time to do the university tour because the Bitcoin price like crashed big time. Not big time, I mean like it went from like 100K back to the 80K, but still, we're still gonna tour the West Coast and East Coast and talking to students and eventually we want to bring like more insights to the university library, students or the people around the university. So that's the purpose why we really want to do the university tour. And so the quick agenda today, so I'm KJ, I'm the founder and CEO of OnePiece Labs. I'm gonna do the opening speech, which I'm doing right now. And next, we're gonna have Amit from Luffa to introduce their powerful mainnet. And right after that, we're gonna have Michael, but actually it's not Michael, but George, the other head of the ZOG, to introduce their mainnet. So the reason we are introducing the mainnet is because we just want people to know, like developers or the people around university to know where and how you can build on blockchain and how to get started. And for sure, we have the panel discussion. We have more talented speakers joining us and talk insights on the blockchain. And we have the closing speaking and the networking. So this is like basically the agenda for the day. And this is me, KJ. All right. So about OnePiece Labs, I assume like most of the people here have heard about OnePiece Labs. If you don't, we are an accelerator and the community based in right here, Silicon Valley, so South Bay. Our office is like 10 minutes away in Palo Alto, and we care about early stage founders and builders. We do all kinds of like community events and accelerator programs to help our community, the developers, to grow and build things. And like I mentioned, so this is the second year we are working on the university tours. Starting from last year, we have visited like 22 universities, and we invited like 120 plus speakers and more than 5,000 registrations. I have to say they are not all students. So for example, if we go to UT Austin, that's going to be all students. But if we come to Stanford, if we go to like NYU, Columbia, that's going to be like half or more people, not students. I hope we have more students, but students only care about free pizza and the Bitcoin price. So we're gonna try better next time. And also during the trip from the last year, we have collected like 300 plus resumes. I don't know all of your identities, my audience today, but if you are looking for hire somebody, right, the beginner level of the engineers, Web3 degens, or even the BD, right? BD to the young generations, please reach out to us because we are collecting the resumes along the way, and we have the young talents for all kinds of companies, from the early stage startup all the way to the Coinbase. And this is our tour schedule for this year. So we're gonna start Stanford today, and all the way have like Berkeley, and going to Los Angeles, UCLA, USC, and UT Austin. I love Austin, I love the barbecue, and also I love the conference there. And then we go to like Washington, and all the way to the north, and heading to the East Coast, Harvard, MIT in Boston, and then we're gonna finish at NYU and Columbia. So this is our whole trip. So I'm looking forward to meet like 100 students during the trip. And this is our main supporters this year. And I appreciate all the supporters because everyone knows you throw some money to support this trip, but eventually you get what? You get a whole bunch of students looking for the free pizza and also looking for a job. You don't really need a lot of like student builders, but this is important because we do this twice a year, and eventually students, the young generation, will get more and more interested in the Web3. And the big appreciation to the Zero Gravity, that's big supporter, and the Luffa, the mainnet, you got to meet their CTO and the Luffa like an ecosystem lead here. And big thank you to the Social Value. That's one of my portfolio from the accelerator batch. They are going to list it very soon. And big thanks to the Omega. This is Omega. Omega is a BRC20 token, and they have a huge community back in China. They're trying to expand internationally. And also big shout out to our community partners, Off-Chain, Orbeez 86, Luxo, MetaEra, Chaincatcher, Foresight News. And without their support, we cannot form this trip. And I hope all our sponsors, co-hosts, partners, whatever, gonna keep supporting us, and we can do this trip. We can complete this trip and do one more trip by the end of the year. And today, for this small conference, right, for this small community events, we have speakers from ZOG, Luffa. Unfortunately, Tess won't be here. She needs the flight, but she will join the group. You can still connect with her. She's a fabulous investor. And at Scrypt, Metis, and ZKM, and Vishwa. So that's all our speaker lineup for today. And this is the QR code, right? If we have the students, we can definitely scan the QR code, and we have more QR codes by the registration desk. And please, register yourself. Support our, student group. And without further ado, before we have Amit to join us, virtually online, we gotta invite my old friend Michael. Please, Michael, please come forward and say hi.
Hello. So before. Hello guys. Oh, actually, I don't think I need a microphone.
Everybody's so loud.
Yeah. We do have a good voice. Yeah. So I'm Michael. Nice to meet you. So I got into the Web3 sectors back in 2016. So I'm pretty old in this sector. And this is the new project that we have. And so before I do these introductions, and we're really thank you to OPL help giving us these opportunities to do the collaborations. And the thing that we're going to do that in the States is because we didn't do any advertisings or things like this, and then we figured out there are more than 10,000 downloads per day of our applications in North America only. So then we figured out, okay, this is going to be a big opportunities for us. So that's the reason why we're here. So our CTO is the director of the AI in IIT back in India. So I will let him to do more introductions about our project.
Hello everyone, I'm Amit Metis, currently Chief Technology Officer of Inless. Today I would like to talk about one of our key innovations that we are building on Inless, which is known as Luffa. Luffa is a Web3 native decentralized social applications built on Inless, where Inless is a layer 1 blockchain that follows Aptos and is completely written in Move smart contract. So Luffa is an instant messaging application built on the principles of Web3, which is decentralized, user ownership, and financial empowerment. Firstly, decentralization is paramount. We have moved out from traditional centralized server, opting for a distributed architectures. This means user data and messages are not stored in a single vulnerable location. Instead, they are encrypted and spread across a network of nodes, enhancing security and resilience against single points of failure. Secondly, we prioritize user ownership and control. Utilizing blockchain technology, we are implementing systems that allow users to directly own and manage their data and digitalize it within the apps. This is achieved through the integration of decentralized identifier, which is DIDs, and non-custodian wallets, empowering users with complete control over their digital identity and finances. Thirdly, transparency and immutability are embedded through blockchain's inherent characteristics. All transactions and key interactions within Luffa are recorded on the blockchain, creating an auditable and transparent history. This ensures that the actions are verifiable and cannot be tampered with, fostering trust and accountability. Finally, the medium of or a decentralized social application, which we are calling as Web3 native decentralized social application, is actively developing and integrating decentralized governance mechanisms powered through AI. This will also enable the community to participate in decision-making processes, shaping the future of Luffa by empowering users to contribute to the platform's development and operation to ensure that Luffa remains a truly decentralized and community-driven social application, aligning with the core tenets of Web3. Currently, Luffa is in its active development and in the beta phase. We have laid the groundwork for a secure, private, and rewarding messaging experience. You can already access some of the key features of our decentralized messaging application, where your communication is encrypted and stored across a distributed network, ensuring your privacy. Let's say there is a scenario where I'm user A and I'm making conversation with user B. If my text messages in the conversation are in a local Indian languages, which is Hindi, and the other side of the user B wanted to have my messages translated in a Mandarin or maybe in a Spanish or in German language, he can have that option selected from the language list which we are supporting on Luffa. So my messages will instantly get converted onto the other side to the user B. So we have also integrated large language models to have a full-fledged multilingual conversation supported in over 100 plus languages on our Luffa application, which is also why we trying to make the user to have access and control of the overall platform in terms of their conversation and their data. We are also integrating social fi elements, allowing users to earn rewards for their engagement and contributions to the community. This is not just a messaging app, it's a social economy we are working. We are working on a seamless integration with other various blockchains, making it easy to manage your digital assets and interact with decentralized applications directly from within the app. And the moment we support multi-crypto wallets, so a user can have access, and we are also adding more elements to have the access to the decentralized applications external to our Luffa application. So one of our current focus is building a robust and user-friendly platform. That's one of the goal for Luffa. We are actively listening to our community, incorporating feedback and iterating on our features. We are building a foundation that will allow to scale and expand our offerings in the coming months. So we are focused on building a secure, user-centric and privacy-preserving social-fi decentralized application that will reshape how you connect and interact in this digital age. The Luffa team is dedicated to bringing this vision to life, and we invite you to join us on this exciting journey. Now I think we will talk about like how Luffa and the Inless team is intersecting AI and Web3 in this sort of take. This is basically the exciting introduction, and we will also talk about how we are merging Web3 and AI. So given the traditional nature of Web, this is Web2 technologies, and earlier it was Web 1.0. Now what we're trying to do is basically how we can leverage the potential of AI, basically generative AI and agentic AI. And as we know that Web3 with its emphasis on decentralization and user ownership, it's also a perfect combination and like a key foundation for building more equitable and transparent social platform. When we integrate agentic AI, we can create intelligent system within the Luffa platform that let users to have a full-fledged activity, either with his conversation or if he is one of the participants in one of our group or channel on Luffa. And this AI-powered assistant, either through generative AI or agentic AI, more like an AI agent, it can proactively assist users, manage community, and automate complex tasks in a decentralized environment for each of the users. And this will be fully flexible to them, so they can also customize on the go. So how Web3 intersecting AI can empower social platforms? Here today we are talking about Luffa, and we are actually trying to integrate AI agents that can moderate content in a fair and transparent manner, ensuring that community guidelines are upheld without bias. Also, one of the key features that we are trying to integrate and leveraging artificial intelligence is to basically uh, flag the harmful content, speeches, and also any actor that can harm user during a conversation on Luffa. And also, it's one of the key challenges in most of the social media that how to remove toxicity from user conversation or during a user conversation. So what we're trying to think out or building is like how generative AI can be used to create personalized content experiences, fostering deeper engagement while respecting users' privacy. By leveraging blockchain and Web3, we can ensure that user data is securely stored and the users have full control over their digital identities and interactions. So one key application where we're trying to use AI is for decentralized autonomous organization DAO, where agentic AI and generative AI can automate governance processes, facilitate decision making, and manage community resources, making DAOs more efficient and accessible. As they can play a role in creating dynamic and engaging content for DAO proposals and discussions, fostering a more inclusive and participatory environment. Moreover, we can use these technologies to address issues like misinformation, online harassment. Given AI agents can be used to train and detect by flagging harmful content such as conversational text in a group or channel or one-to-one chats, while blockchain can ensure that content moderation decisions are transparent and accountable. We can also create personalized learning experiences where AI agents curate educational content based on individual interests and needs, promoting lifelong learning and knowledge sharing. So, Beeman, we talked about how AI intersecting Web3. As in essence, this allows social tech to build a more user-centered, transparent, and equitable digital world. By harnessing AI on Web3, the power of these technologies, we can create social platforms that empower individuals, foster collaboration, and promote positive social change. This is the future we are working towards, and I believe it holds immense potential for transforming how we connect and interact online.
All right, thanks, Nate. Even if he's not here, I guarantee, I promise, and not guarantee, I promise, in the future, I'm gonna bring all the speakers like offline, and you can meet them like in real person, and you can definitely, like ask more questions, after the presentation. And right after me, we have George, the strategic advisor from COG, to give us more insights on zero gravity. It's a very powerful DA layer and the layer 1, and we have been working together for a long time. So we did one accelerated program, incubated like 10 projects last year sometime. And right now, we are starting the second accelerated program. Actually, we just started like last night, and we're gonna spend 10 more weeks to incubate 10 projects, or eventually gonna be 12. We have still some pending projects, and to build our zero gravity. So let's welcome George and give us like okay.
Hello everyone, I'm George. Yes, I'm the head of strategic partnerships at Zero Gravity Labs. I'm also helping with Accelerator with OnePiece Labs. I'm just going to do a brief 10-minute presentation on what Zero Gravity is doing, how we look at the AI and Web3 landscape, what we're looking forward to in the future, and why you should build with Zero Gravity.
George, did you send me the slide on the teaching on the group chat? Like this one? Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So Zero Gravity, we are building the world's first decentralized AI operating system, sitting on our own native L1 EVM compatible chain. And we're basically bridging the gap between Web2 and Web3 AI. And we want to bring as much of the AI on-chain as possible. So just briefly, we'll go over the vision for AI and Web3, how our decentralized AI operating system empowers AI, some of the use cases of AI for Web3 and vice versa, and the narratives and how Zero-G is positioning ourselves for those narratives. So Zero-G's vision for decentralized AI is pretty simple. We believe AI is a public good. And we believe that in order to bring AI on-chain, there has to be a lot of upgrades to the current infrastructure. This includes the data availability, the data storage, and also inferencing, fine-tuning, and training. All of these things, if you want to do it on-chain, the infrastructure needs a huge upgrade. And that's what Zero-G is doing. We're upgrading that infrastructure. While we do this upgrade, not only AI benefits from this infrastructure, there's going to be 6 or 7 key industries that we believe benefit from this upgrade. First is the DePIN, then we have gaming, DeFi, AI models, decentralized storage, RWAs, and many more. We'll go into that, but basically, all of these industries are going to benefit from what Zero Gravity is building. We have an all-stars team. Michael is our CEO, Ming is our CTO, and Thomas. They're also helping out. The team is, Stanford, Harvard, put all the letters together, you got it, they're all-star team. We have around 50 or so team members now, more than half of which are developers, and we're quite decentralized between SF, Florida, Shanghai, Singapore. We've raised quite a lot of money, so our vision for decentralized AI is quite possible, we believe, because we have a lot of good backers who have not only given significant capital, but they've also given strategic advice, and they're also very deeply embedded in the ecosystem, and have provided us opportunities to partner with similar-minded folks. So we've over $325 million. We've raised also an additional $35 million in a node sale, where we sold alignment nodes to the community. We had over 100,000 nodes sold. We had over 10,000 participants. So, we have enough funding now, so we can go out and make sure the vision comes true. We've also recently released or announced a large ecosystem fund. This ecosystem fund will have $88.8 million, and it's going to be for funding decentralized AI. It's going to be for developers, researchers, people who are really pushing the space forward, and especially those who are going to be using Zero-G's technology to do so. We've also won some social metrics, where we were the first to win the ICO leadership leaderboard challenge, where we got the community to vote for us. We beat a lot of famous L1s, L2s as well, and so we're pretty happy about that. And the community is really growing at Zero Gravity. So when we say we are the largest AI ecosystem, especially the largest L1 for AI, here is just some of the partners that we have. We have over 300 projects building with Zero-G. And we're still on testnet. We're anticipating mainnet to be sometime in Q2. But even before that, we've had so much demand and interest from people who want to build with Zero-G and scale their applications with the AI infrastructure that Zero Gravity is building. So what is that AI infrastructure that Zero Gravity is building? So we have that decentralized operating system. That operating system has 3 core components. First is the fastest programmable data availability layer, with speeds up to 5,000 times faster than the current DA solutions. Data availability basically is how fast you can verify on-chain transactions. And if you look at, for example, the Ethereum transaction, 60% of those gas costs that you pay is due to data availability. And so this was the first product that Zero Gravity actually released in March of last year, and it changed the game. We are getting speeds of up to 50 gigabytes per second, which now allows for fully on-chain AI and gaming and things that were not possible before. The second component of the operating system is a decentralized storage network. Our storage network is similar to the other decentralized storage you may have heard of, but it's much faster and much cheaper. So we're getting speeds up to 2 gigabytes per second, which is the fastest decentralized storage network in the entire Web3 space, and faster than many Web2 solutions as well. And with regards to cost, we're up to 80% cheaper than AWS S3. And so to give you some context, that's like $5 to $10 per terabyte a month. And so now, of those 300 projects, I would say a majority of them are like, let's use zero-G storage because now we can put more things on-chain. So they're putting on-chain games, AI models, decentralized LLMs, AI agent networks, all of those can be stored within our storage network comprised of storage nodes. The third component is the compute network, and this is basically ties into what we call a decentralized serving marketplace. And the decentralized serving marketplace is for inferencing, fine-tuning, and data verification. This is particularly important for, again, AI agents, AI models. Users are able to submit their data to this compute network. They're able to train models, train AI agents in the marketplace, and then they're able to monetize that entire flow. So the data, the training, and then the actual agents themselves can all be monetized on this marketplace. So all three components, the data availability, the decentralized storage, the serving marketplace for training, all three of those fit within the operating system and sit on the L1 chain. The L1 is EVM compatible, so it's very easy for onboarding and for liquidity reasons. And the code, you can develop the native Solidity language. And because we're able to have this decentralized operating system sitting on our L1, a lot of applications are able to hyper-optimize their tech stack by simply launching on our L1. But we are a modular L1 chain, so what that means is those three components which I mentioned, any project, regardless of what chain they're on, they can take that and plug and play into their existing infrastructure. So we support projects in Solana ecosystem, Bitcoin, ETH, Base, it doesn't matter. You can abstract the DA, the storage, the compute, you can abstract that into your own project and app chain, for example. So, we believe on-chain AI is truly open AI. We don't think that centralized AI solutions are as transparent and censorship resistant as they may claim to be. We all maybe just take it for granted, but there is a lot of fundamental research to solve a lot of these fundamental problems with closed AI. And so this is just a little overview of how we're handling it with the storage. We are having projects that are doing data labeling and cleaning. There's a good way of using the blockchain for on-chain provenance and data collection methods. We have a lot of execution for the inferencing and fine-tuning, and that requires a lot of GPU. And then we have the agents and dApps also. All of these components are vital to opening up AI and making it more transparent. And so here's just a comparison. It's quite mind-blowing, the technological leaps that zero-G has made. Just to give you an example, right? ETH gets their data availability throughput is around 0.08 megabytes per second. And then Solana, which everyone says is the fastest and the best, it's really not optimized for AI. And we actually have several projects that have launched, their agents on Solana, and then they've come back to us and said, we're having RPC issues, we're having scalability issues. It's truly not fast enough, or the throughput is not high enough to support scalable AI. And so Solana only gets 125 megabytes per second, for example. Zero-G, as I mentioned before, we get around 50 gigabytes per second. So again, 5,000 to 50,000 times better throughput and speed than any of the existing options. As storage costs as well, much cheaper than even AWS. So the centralized solutions are more expensive. So does AI need Web3, or does Web3 need AI, right? So we've gone through the hype cycle, we've gone through a lot of the things. We do believe that Web3 actually supports AI. because it allows for clear on-chain provenance of the data that the AI is used and trained on. It also allows for fair attribution and distribution of rewards to those who are contributing to those models. So when we use ChatGPT, OpenAI, we pay a subscription fee, $20 a month or whatever, but we don't get any benefit back from us based on how well the model improves, besides the product itself. In an open environment, in a decentralized way, if we were able to get rewards back for the data that we contribute to these models, including the prompts, we think that's a fairer way to reward people for their contributions, and the blockchain allows for these type of things. There's also the ability to utilize crowdsourced data. There's the ability to interact cross-chain across different environments. We have the whole incentivization mechanism with tokens, so that way we can incentivize people to share their data, to contribute to networks, and then make AI truly a public good. So this is what has been going on for the past 6 to 8 months. If anybody's an investor in the space, you would have understood. We've gone through a very fast cycle in AI. We've gone from hype to fundamentals, and now we're in the utility phase. This is what Zero-G believes, and this is what we've been preparing for the past few years. So in the hype phase, all it started off with is text-to-image generation, for example. And so this is very easy. It's very fun, right? Then what we had is, okay, let's say there's a truth terminal on Twitter which goes and launches its own meme coin called GOAT, right? And Mark Andreessen, famous VC, he goes and he supports it with the $50,000 VC grant, right? And so now we have meme coins which are tied to AI agents, right? So we went from text to image, we went to AI agents, and now AI agents were more of a social phenomenon where it was a social chatbot, for example. And it spiked, and it brought an entire wave of other frameworks to launch AI agents, like AI16Z or ELIZA, the Virtuals ecosystem, AI-XBT. All of these guys came after this in order to really take advantage of that narrative, but also to open source and to allow people to deploy agents more easily. What happens next, right? There's a collapse in the market. All those hype projects are not doing too well market cap-wise, but the development will continue, and the frameworks that were used to actually launch agents are continuing to be used, but there has to be major improvements made, and this is where Zero-G comes in. So we believe that the frameworks need to have the training capacity, the inferencing and fine-tuning, and Zero-G is building that in through our service marketplace, which I mentioned. We think that AI agents have to have real utility. So, they should be, for example, making everybody's life easier. So this could be by, for example, searching for yield on chain. It could be by being your personal assistant. It could be a real estate agent, a security agent. We have over 10 to 15 agents that are actually launching with us on mainnet. So stay tuned to our socials for that. And all of them have a good utility. None of them are hype agents. They're all utility agents, and we're really excited about that. I'm not going to go into all of this, but basically, we are still working towards solving the problem of censorship resistance and preventing bad AI from, infiltrating the world. In a world of autonomous AI agents, it's really hard to put checks and balances in place. It's really hard even for model training to prevent biases from entering. In OpenAI, it's a central authority that may be determining the weightages and the biases for the systems, and we want to prevent that by opening it up and including decentralized infrastructure to make everything more transparent. So that's about it for us. This is our social media. It's at Zero-G Labs. I'm George. Michael's our CEO. You can DM me on Telegram at @gbards, or my email is here. And then this is also very relevant. We have some, so you can take a picture of this. Basically, we have the $88.8 million ecosystem fund program to support builders. There's some developer documentation where you can immediately deploy. Our storage is live, data availability is live, the chain is live on testnet. We also have inferencing live, and fine-tuning is coming out later this month. And then the accelerator, we love the OnePiece Labs guys. The first cohort did really well. We have a few unicorns out of there. We have a lot more amazing launches coming out in cohort 1. Cohort 2 is going to be announced soon. We just had the kickoff yesterday night. Again, a lot of really interesting projects coming out. So, follow the OnePiece Labs people, the accelerator, and the group. They're doing a great job, and they're finding a lot of good talent. So reach out to them, or reach out to Zero G and build with us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, George. Wow, this is a huge prize pool, $88.88 million. I want to be an entrepreneur myself. I apply to the third program. So please, if you are working on some projects yourself, or if you know a friend is working on something, please refer to us. So I know ZOGT really cares about the community and cares about innovation, and we should build something great together in this cycle. All right, okay, thank you, George, and I appreciate it. I believe today a lot of people, coming from San Francisco and maybe heading back to San Francisco. I appreciate all the hustle and travel, and we got first of you. Where is my slide? That's not my slide. Okay. We're gonna have. Okay, and the next we're gonna have our panel. We have my slides flying around and kind of lost all my slides. And next we're gonna have a panel, and we have some familiar faces and my old friends and new friends, coming to join us, to share the more insights. And I'm happy to reconnect with a lot of my friends as well. So please welcome I'm calling me. Yes, our panelists, please join us at the panel. And Bruce, and Nathan, and Michael. Yes. Right? What about? Come on, Nathan. Yeah. I just lost my. Oh, it's right here. Oh, good catch, good catch. There's too many stuff on my laptop. And we are here. Amazing. Final couple slides. Please take a seat. That's new friends, old friends, and we're gonna sit together. I'm probably gonna need a microphone. I can't leave it to you.
Please hold it. Okay. All right. So here, week 3. We 4 have been knowing each other for years, way before this bull run. And Bruce sounds like a new friend, but actually, has connected with OnePiece Labs, since 2018. We just kind of reconnected. And I'd love to know more. We haven't been talking for month or at least half a year or something. So please, introduce yourself. Maybe start from Nathan and what you're working on. Yeah.
First, I have to use the mic because I talk too much these days, and apparently I lost my voice. Yeah, good to meet you guys again. This is Nate, co-founder and CEO of Vishwa. So we're building a trustless version of Scrypt, which is the bridging on and off BEC with the trustless message relay. So yeah, great to meet you again. Finally got to stay back on campus. Great experience so far. Yeah, I'd to learn more about you.
Hi, my name is Nate. I'm the co-founder of Metis. That was last cycle. In this cycle, I'm working on the project Zero Knowledge Virtual Machine called ZKM. And also we built a vertical ecosystem from this called ZK Metis. And we're reaching for SOLA at this very moment. Very proud of it. In a broader ecosystem, Metis is doing a genesis this cycle, incorporating point of view data aligned Web3 AI. And that project is called .ai. And I'm also very proud that I'm part of that as well. hopefully this goal will see new innovation. Us really
hello guys, I'm Michael, and I'm currently the head of North America of Luffa, and beside I'm the board director of the Metis Foundation. So Metis Foundation incubates Luffa, and so Luffa is a like Amit introduced before, it's a beautifully encrypted and fully anonymous and AI companion social interaction platform. And we have just recently finished our 110 million US dollars fundraisings, and now we have more than 1 million users across the world, and it's increasing pretty fast right now. Yeah, so we'd like to interact more with you guys.
Hi everyone, this is Bruce from Scrypt, and reason for Scrypt for people who don't know. So I've been in crypto since 2017, and that's how I first worked in the co-working space, also called OnePiece.
Yeah.
Before the startup, that's good. So I've been into this space for quite a while, and first I was in some other, like Ethereum, like EOS, and a bunch of other, blockchain. But eventually, I think kind of got my way back to Bitcoin, and since 2018, I've been, let's say, exclusively working on Bitcoin. And most importantly, I work on something called Bitcoin smart contract. Okay, so what we developed is it's a little bit, let's say, contrary to what's the mainstream, let's say, crypto people are doing, because in our opinion, Bitcoin technology is still, it's very, let's say, underutilized, and a lot of technology has not been exploited. For example, most people, even in crypto, they don't know, hey, Bitcoin can do smart contract. That's what we developed technology. It's called Scrypt. So you can think about it like Solidity, but for Bitcoin. Bitcoin also has this virtual machine. It's developed by Satoshi himself. But most people never heard about it. And if you may heard about it, how many people heard about this thing called OpCat? Anybody heard about OpCat? Raise hand. Okay. OpCat. Okay. So basically, the Bitcoin virtual machine is already there, and for various reasons, it has been kind of like, let's say, handicapped in history by Satoshi himself. So right now, one of the biggest Bitcoin upgrade we're talking about is should we bring the smart contract community back to Bitcoin? So make it almost like make Bitcoin great again. Okay, so which is one of the most popular proposals we're talking about is OpCat. So if you've not heard about OpCat, today go back on Twitter or whatever your favorite AI, just search for OpCat, and it basically means, hey, Bitcoin can do everything, Ethereum, EOS, Solana, 0, whatever, at least in terms of the smart contract. So that's what I want to talk about today. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Professor Bruce gave us homework, go back and do some research on OpCat. I definitely got to do that. So before I go to my question list on my phone, so actually I have a question for the audiences today. So how many of you have been to the Denver 2 weeks ago? Raise your hand. Okay, not many of you. Okay, that's okay. You didn't miss anything. All right. So my first question to our panelists, say, maybe start from Bruce. So what's your thoughts on the Endeavor this time compared to last year or the year before? Because the market, we assume this is a bull market, but actually the price of Bitcoin is going down, right? So what do you think about Endeavor this time?
Bitcoin may be down, but Ethereum is down worse. So because I've been in the Bitcoin space, so exclusive, so the Stanford is actually my first step into East Stanford. I was in Consensus before that, so I came invited from Hong Kong. I went there, and the main event is kind of quiet, at least compared to the past events. As you guys probably see some videos online. I think it's last year or 2 years ago, the line to the main event is like you have two people form the line, and several blocks. But this year, for whatever reason, maybe price is one big factor, but that's just been quiet. So I mostly went to a few, let's say, Bitcoin side events. Some by Bitcoin layers and some by BTC startup labs. I think it's through what I've been talking to people, and even it's an ETH-themed event, but it looks like the BTC and the Solana community is more active there. So it's just kind of my vibe I got, so which is very interesting because I suppose the main event is the East. I think the price definitely can affect that sentiment, but also I think Ethereum after the switch into proof of stake, and somehow it's been a downtrend since then. I think it's it's kind of in let's say awkward position. It's not as decentralized or as historic value as BTC, but also it's not as performant as Solana. So I think it's very interesting to see how the three play out. How they play out in the next, let's say, couple of years. But I'm very bullish about the BTC ecosystem.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, so we're actually pretty big on Ethereum this time, so can't say you.
Oh yeah, you guys like the top sponsor for the.
Yeah. We also
right?
hosted a ZK Club event.
Yeah.
Next to the main stage.
Yeah.
So we're the only side event on the main stage. So I can't say it's all but nothing. But that being said, yeah, the market is a bit down. It's kind of like a traditional time the East conference. It's some kind of like a market crash. So I was also there at the Bitcoin side as well. National last year. I didn't really emphasize my intro that we also built a Bitcoin layer 2 app called Go Network. So it's interesting information. The OPCAT, we don't rely on that. We're in this BitBN layer 2 campaign. So the reason is OPCAT is good and all that, but Satoshi removed it himself. So I think it's very hard for the whatever Bitcoin community is. It's very difficult to bring that back because Bitcoin community is very decentralized. Like the miner has no say to what coders, core developers are going to do, and all the whales, they also can influence it either one as well. So it's very hard to make this kind of big change. But I'm bullish on the Web3 kind of smart contract, all that on top of Bitcoin because we don't need that. We have ZKBM, BBM, so that's very powerful tools that Ethereum have built over the years and will be powerful enough to. It's good we have that back, but we don't need it. That being said, AI is like the kind of shadowing everything in East Denver and all the talks ever since ETHSF. Most of the talks are around AI, and we need an answer to that. You can't just say let's marry Web3 with AI. And what is Web3? Web3 doesn't really equal to crypto. Crypto is a point P2P money, and it's very sad to say that it's having really graduated from that. Right? So you don't have social apps, you don't have like games. You have it's very bad, right? So the killer app is still like DeFi. That's really good. AI may actually help Web3, not everyone. I've seen a lot of people say that AI needs Web3. They don't need that. People use AI just for fun, just for I'm doing verified computing, so I should be very wise to emphasize this, but verified computing is like a very infrequent use, right? Something went bad, think of like verified computing, but everything runs like problem fast, and people actually don't need that. So in the field of like pessimistic optimism, computing now like pessimistic computing, which is what I do, like okay, you every transaction. So why are we doing this? Because I think verified computing is not for verified things. It's actually to enable true decentralization, a different paradigm that we use to kind of counter the power that corporations, big government, and all that, censorship resistance, all these ideals that I think a lot of people feel kind of just exist a little bit. So I think it's this new paradigm that we build upon. Two cents.
Yeah, thanks for the sharing. Because I didn't really join these very like person, but I did a couple of virtual speaks and virtual workshops over there. In terms of Vivian, because there are like two prerequisites for Vivian. One is the covenant, the other one is the OPM. So basically, you can't just like throw it away. So and just assume that it's going to happen, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is that I know the main narrative is about the AI and how because they're also like a theme event in ETHSF talking about like decentralized ACC or whatsoever. They're talking about like if the aggregation of the resources, towards the top tech companies who built the AI, who built all of those like foundational models, they aggregate more resources on top of that and throw away like the rest of the long tail, not only like people but also assets and so on and so forth. A couple of good things about that. I don't want to use the phrase or use the narrative of Web3 to try to like coerce together with the AI, because that's what blockchain as a technology could do instead of like Web3 as a narrative would do. Blockchain as a technology, one of the most important things that can help AI is to retain, verify, and weight the ownership and the contribution of a certain piece of the data in a certain piece of the model, a certain piece of the agent or a certain piece of the model, right? So, because long story short, or given the TLDR, is that different type of models or different type of agents, they get overfit if you weight them like manually and under supervision instead of just like automated and atomic algorithm over that. Because if you're automating someone's contribution, right, they have a very strong incentive to push back, and that is going to contaminate your supervision cycle. So, in terms of that, this is a good way that the blockchain and the verifiable competition can actually contribute to this work. So that's why I don't really want to use the term of like Web3 plus AI. It's basically how blockchain as a technology can help AI, can help asset management, can help like the redistribution of the wealth. That's basically my thoughts on the current cycle.
Awesome, thank you, Nathan. I have to say, like Nathan is the co-founder of Vishwa, and Vishwa is one of, I have to say, it's the most promising project from our incubator batch, accelerator batch, with a PhD from the last batch. Now we're running the second one. They are from the first one. So the market is getting a little bit slow right now. So what's your plan? You are like a fast-growing company today. So what's your plan for 2025? From the tech side, or even especially from the ecosystem side, business side?
Great question. In terms of the business planning, or like I said, I don't want to use the term like narrative or whatsoever to boost the brand or whatsoever, because that's my own opinion. That any business that hasn't been able to close their own business loop or get connected with the real economy, and the cycle is going to be dead. Period. Right? So, I've seen teams like Celestia, right? They raise the idea of data availability, and they build like very big program, but I received multiple, because I'm in the security space, right? Because there are shit tons of projects trying to adopt and integrate with Celestia, but it's not that helpful because, I mean, in terms of efficiency, and there are a lot of bugs as well, right? So you really need to be helpful and useful to other businesses or other entities who are able to generate the revenue, especially on the SMB side. Because if you're working for, because I just made a post yesterday on LinkedIn saying that if it started initially aimed to work and convert big deals from like big corp, you end up being a consulting company, right? That's basically the dilemma that all of the SaaS companies are facing right now. So focusing more on the SMBs and try to close the business loop, because our business model has day one revenue as soon as deployed. So it's not a real problem for us, but I mean that's my humble opinion for like people who I believe like not only like our panelists but also like speakers, other speakers and audiences. You guys want to build business and you guys probably want to tap the water in the crypto or in AI or in general doing startup, right? That's just my experience and my opinion on top of that.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a question for you. So, based on self-instruction, you are wearing like many hats, right? There's like Metis, there's ZKM, and Go, right? I think I have heard a Go from Kevin when I went in Bangkok. So, is the ZKM the BTC layer too?
Yeah, still.
That's right. Yeah. So, I've been working with other BTC layer tools. You know, I actually.
Yeah, ZKM is developing a ZKVM based off the MIPS ISA, and Goat Network is not other Goat, right? The BB Goat, but Goat Network is a BTC layer 2 built on top of ZKM under this paradigm called entangled law. So it's a bridges in Bitcoin fashion. You can think of it as like a pan blockchain aggregator, like a Polygon aggregator, but it for all chains, not just Ethereum. They don't really see right now. Ethereum doesn't really care what happens under everything's instant.
Okay. And actually, my question is, I've been working with like
different like BTC layer tools, in very good relationship with like Layer and Jeff from what's this like Merlin Train, right? I actually invested in Merlin Train as well for our portfolio as well. So what's the big difference from like Gold, ZKM, from all the other like BTC layer tools?
I think we're trying to build something next generation of Bitcoin layer 2. The projects I mentioned are pioneers in trying to bring applications, liquidities in and out of the Bitcoin ecosystem. But the solutions are quite flawed. There's a lot of uncertainties and sometimes problem solutions. So the generation of Gold Network, several other projects like Luffa, we're trying to build a Bitcoin layer 2 ecosystem that will support some new paradigms that's not been before. For example, maybe token. We can support cross-chain native tokens, not ones like just all these previous projects that rely on another block the power of the VM is very powerful. So we can build these new paradigms that will have like more secure bridge solution or bridges great. So that's very good. Liquidity, not
fully responsible. Things like that.
So during my trip, on my trip, in Denver, and I visited like Hong Kong. Before in Denver, I talked to at least like 100 investors, and the investors have to say, I'm not trying to scare you, the investors can't like stop investing because there's like many reasons. They say we're at the second half of the bull market, and if I invest today, it won't get listed, or they say, there's no technology innovation, I don't see any cap, right? There's like many reasons, but the investors like slowing on investing, and that's my job because I'm running incubator programs. I help my portfolio to raise money. But there's one thing that kill all the excuses, which is the traction. So if one product or one project can build traction, no matter user base or revenue, whatever, and the investors still want to make investments. So I was so surprised when today I was talking to Michael, and you guys built like amazing traction without like any effort. Could you share some tips on that? Like how do you do that? And what's the plan, like a bigger plan for 45 or any special programs to, for the product go to market?
Yeah, so basically what I'm thinking is, I think KJ has a really good point. Whether that's bull market or bear market, I think the most important thing is what's the marketing or what's the PMFs that you are building. And more importantly is, for example, because many of us are in Web3, like many projects, or because I was an investor back in 2018 and I still doing the investment. My focus is on Web3 and AI infrastructures and cybersecurity. And I think that's kind of the reason why I participate into the Luffa and the Analyst Chronicle. It's because I think it's not only focusing on getting listed the day after tomorrow or something like that. It's more focusing on what's the market need and what our product is and how do we distinguish from the others. Like for example, in the social interaction area, we have WhatsApp, we have Telegram, we have WeChat in China, which is like a super powerful super app. The thing is, like the tips that you mentioned is, first, we do not have some app or one single app that is fully anonymous and do not collect any data from the users. And I think that's important, especially there are some market needs around the world. Because for example, I would like to take this little example. For example, if you are doing about physical readings, if you're doing the tarot, if you're doing the psychologist advisement, and you will see you don't want to have your privacy leaks. Even you don't want to let the advisors know who you are, but you want to tell them the symptoms that you have. And this is kind of like a great need for these applications. And if you search on Facebook, you will see how many people over there in the communities. There are more than 10 to 15 million across the world. And in the United States, there are more than 3 to 5 million in North America. So this is a huge market that we're targeting in. And besides that, we do have some target over the video games and fitness and those things like that. So that's kind of like our tips. We find the product market fit pretty good. And then when it comes to the 2025 marketing strategy, it's pretty old compared to all those Web3 fancy things. So we do like we do some like high quality community collaborations. For example, like the ambassador program, and we do it with the KOLs, collaborate with the KOLs, and then we will find some pillars, the key players within the vertical segments in different sectors, like I mentioned, the entertainment, in fitness, and psychologists, and then the last but not least is we will try our best to find the natural growth instead of just buying the volumes, like many projects they do. Yeah, because we didn't, like we said in the beginning, we didn't do any advertisement in the United States. I think most of you do not heard Luffa before, but we have accumulated, we have the daily download more than 10,000K. 10,000K per day. So this is pretty good and really surprised us. Yeah, so yeah, this is basically our strategy.
Awesome, that's great. And actually, my next question goes to Bruce. Can I give you the microphone? So, I love Bitcoin. I participate in lots like Bitcoin, like games, and I participate in the BRC20, the Roomies, and this month. stuff like that. So could you tell me a little bit more, what's the future gonna be the smart contract on Bitcoin, the blockchain? It's totally new to me. I mean, I never imagined I can do through transactions, or there's a lot of like, activities that we have on Bitcoin. Is that your goal? And is that something like Scrypt can achieve in the near future?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we are focused on. Basically, we want to bring programmability and smart contract back to the blockchain. Because you just mentioned, a lot of other token standard. For example, BRC20 or rooms. People will play with these tokens or even orders or BTC. I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest limitation is the lack of smart contract. Also got programmability. That's why you see all this. I call it legacy token markers. BRC20 or rooms. Want to add programmability into the existing platform by some upgrade, for example, BRC 2.0 or some kind of programmable module added into rooms classes. But the drawback of all this is they're not really smart contract in the traditional sense, because every other chain, when we talk about smart contract, is always it's built into consensus and run by the nodes, right? For example, EVM or Solana is all by the consensus nodes. But then Bitcoin, the only way to achieve true smart contract is to run it and by the miners, by the Bitcoin nodes, which is so-called Bitcoin Scrypt. So of course the most famous one called OpCat, but there are tons of other opcodes. So basically what we build is building a high level language Scrypt. So other people it's flexibility, but even that because it's a JavaScript library actually. You don't have to build that, you can program.
Is that similar to the right to program the Starburst split?
Yeah, we basically build a Bitcoin platform stack. So and we work closely with them and
the right to thing.
But yeah, so the biggest things we are pushing this year, of course, we're going to talk about is always coming back to OpCat, because as other panelists have talked about, Bitcoin, it's very hard to change. It's very conservative. I mean, some say it's a bug, but it could be also a feature, right? But then you cannot just change it and really win, right? But also, you can also upgrade, because look at the history, right? You have Segway, you have Taproot, and the funny thing is, Taproot was 4 years ago, and then 4 years ago that was Segway. So if you, I don't know, I'm not an astrologist, but it's about time for Bitcoin.
It's there, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So you really want to bring back let's say the programmability, the smart capability into Bitcoin. The most important business project right now is OpCat. So that's what we are 100% focused on. We are working with a lot of people, for example, Stanford, Blockstream, and also Taproot users. We are coordinating with core developers, miners, big business. We want to push it as fast as possible to get the biggest consensus, because really, the key is once you have OpCat or some other kind of opcode proposal, merge the next upgrade, the Bitcoin is going to it's going to the next phase, because without this kind of like a big upgrade, I think if you only play with existing tokens, I just feel we're probably not going to get to the next stage. Even you upgrade BRC20 or rooms, it's not going to be fundamental change. So for example, we actually come up with another token protocol called CAT20. I don't know if you heard about it. Basically, it's the first
CAT20.
CAT20.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So it's the first token protocol of Bitcoin that leverages OpCat, and also it's the first one that does not require indexing, because everything is all in Bitcoin Scrypt. So the Bitcoin smart contract and verified at layer 1 by the miners, by the nodes. So for example, when you mint a hot BRC20, you go there, it may be late, and then it's binned out, but still your transactions are accepted, right? And will be taken by the miners. You lost your fee, but you didn't get a, let's say, hot ES20 or fluence or whatnot. But this will never happen in CAN 20, because if you meet and the supply is gone, transaction will be rejected by the miners. Also, there's a lot of other features, all because of the simple 10 lines code called opcap. So, for example, also you can do, in the exchanges, the marketplace today, you can only do buy order, right? Oh, sorry, you can only do sell order. All this index-based token. But for CAN 20, you can do buy order too, because in the Scrypt, in the contract, you can verify, hey, this is really true, and also you can do partial orders. Right? You don't have to like split or transfer inscription. Basically, it's pretty much like DeFi or ERC20 or now running on Bitcoin. I think that's why we spend a lot of energy not only build out all the toolings, but also we want to push forward the next upgrade, be it OpCap or some other covenant proposal. It's going to be. I think that's without a big upgrade. I think it's very hard to take Bitcoin to the next level. But I'll jumpstart the whole bull market. I think it's going to be the key.
All right, thank you, Bruce. You can keep the microphone. So I gotta ask one last question for our audiences, because I talked to many of you like before this event. So for example, I talked to Nick from Jersey, and ready to get into the Web3 space. I saw some other people with their like company logo. Maybe they have already started their own company, right? So now we're at like weird market, right? The bull or bear, we don't know about it. So what's your advices for the entrepreneurs, the founders? Because you are the founder, you are leading your own team, like already for months or years. So what's your advice for the young entrepreneurs, entering this space, like now, or their like startup is still like at the early stage? Should they keep building, or they should do more of the Web2 leading stuff, or they can wait a little bit, build during the bear market? So any advices from you, from your own experience?
I think from my limited experience, I think as other panelists have also mentioned, it's always about, it doesn't matter if Web2, Web3, AI, or you can open a restaurant, you can do open a laundromat, it doesn't matter. It's always about the product market fit. So I wouldn't worry too much about the timing, because if you can solve a real need, the customers, the users, it's a pain point. It really doesn't matter what technology you're using or what timing you are building. So for us, we always see this opportunity. Basically, we want to solve all the pain point for Bitcoin users. For example, self-custody, right? Or programmability, or the difficulty of trading, the different tokens. Right? So all these are, some people they can argue, hey, these are not real, utility scenario. But hey, whatever people are doing today, if they like trading, they want to find some yield for the BTC, for example, right? These are all real needs, and we just have to find to match the tech. This is the problem we're solving, instead of doing the opposite. Hey, the tech is cool, what we're trying to build out. So a lot of times it's still, it doesn't matter what's the timing, whether it's bear market or which industry. I think even AI probably, you just always to find what the pain points are. It's not quite simple, right? Build something people want. It looks very simple, but I think it's a very fundamental.
Have an application, right? Because everybody is getting away from the infra. I mean, infra is important. I respect infra, but people maybe right now we should focus more on the applications. User can use that, no matter it's Web3 community or Web2 community.
Yeah, or infra, because if all the people are building apps, they are solving the same problem. They have to set up a node or do the same thing repeatedly, and that's probably something that infra providers can solve. Alchemy, I think Alchemy, and also what's the Morales, and all these providers. So always, find what the users want and solve the problem for them. I think that's always, doesn't matter what's the bell or bull market. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think, I totally agree with you. And let's try to put Web3, Web1, or Web0 away. And I think fundamentally, because we are in a rapidly evolving age, we can see there are AIs, there are Web3s, there are another tags coming out. We do not know when will the AGI or ASI take place, but we do know that AI is going to release, let's say, to proliferate the productivities significantly. And while the Web3s will help us to solve some problems, or at least make it more fair to the value distributions. So we believe in the long run, but we still do a little bit more adaptive to that. So like you mentioned, maybe applications, maybe infras. If there are problems, common problems we witness in the infras, and you are constantly good at that, then you can solve it. Or you find some applications that is strongly needed in the market, yeah, just develop it. So that comes to another suggestion that I want to say is we learn at the same time, try to engage. Yeah, because there are a lot of people like you're just observing and you're not practicing. So which means if you will make mistakes, of course, but you will have precious experience based on that. And with all those interactions with developers and the market, you will have first-hand feedback. And I think that's really precious if you're going to build your product or participate in the Web3 space, because Web3 is not only about finance or DeFi and things like that, and it's not only about there are a lot of concepts. Yeah, there are true values behind it.
Yeah, I agree. Like the purpose of Web3 is actually kind of take us to Web0. Yeah. So yeah, I think in this era, like I remember like when DeFi was the first DeFi summer, we all were very excited. Just the market is down, but look at what happened, like FTX and all this like big hacks. So I think the mood is very down. So we're kind of at the point that people think like we're just a bunch of like scammers, and we can't blame them. I heard this this guy called Alex Kantrowitz, he made a very good comment. He said crypto is very disappointing, and what we need is a deep sea moment of crypto. Yeah. So I think infra is something that's kind of a oxymoron, like in the space of crypto, because in the beginning it's just B2B. You're not supposed to rely on like big infra, right? So I think we just need to build that like go to the root of Web0, build that killer app, right, to make decentralized apps that great again, per se. Like we have all this like huge AGI thing that's looming on top of everyone, right? And that's a threat to every human being. And what we can kind of sort of going from blocks is that we need to enable individuals, right? We don't need this huge model, right? Like a human being doesn't really know like everything in the world, right? So I don't think the LLM today is the kind of thing, the intelligence that kind of aligns with human, right? You need this small models, but very nimble, very capable, but not know or do everything. Yeah. I think this the spirit of blockchain, Web0, and everything else. As builders, let's get down, let's build that killer app, build that deep sea core crypto.
I think everyone mentions good metrics, but since for the early stage founders, for the people who want to build their own startup, I want to share some thoughts together. That was like 1 year ago when I talked with Gary Tan, the founder of Y Combinator. I know a lot of people criticize Gary for like YC's bad taste on like crypto projects or like Web3 projects or whatever. But I think what Gary believes are true and sounds like for all of the early stage startup founders. First is to be honest to yourself. I know there are a lot of people bluffing about like what they can achieve fee, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. But be honest to yourself. Whether this is something meaningful is the very first thing. Second, is it something that's solved the pain point or just something good to have? And third point is that if you're able to generate the revenue, if you're going to fail fast, right? That's like the golden principle for our suburb, right? Those three are definitely whole and sounding, especially in this stage. And second metric that I want to share is the signal noise ratio. For crypto space, the signal noise ratio is super low, right? You always see someone, get rich, right, maybe during the meeting point. You also see someone, saying that, they bought Trump, like the Trump point, the very beginning, and they get rich. But always remember that for any product that does not have a product market fit, it's always a zero-sum game. If someone's saying that they earn a huge amount of money, it means that there are way more people behind it killing themselves because of the loss, right? So the signal noise ratio is something that you need to measure for your product. Is there anyone paying? That's the key, right? If like a lot of AI, that's what most AI startups are facing, right? They have good or huge amount of stars on GitHub. They have like huge amount of thumbs on the home base, but no one's paying. No one's paying, right? If people are not willing to pay you the money, it means that's useless. Period. Right? You can't have a huge amount of people going to your event saying that you're doing a good thing, but they're not showing their own money. It means that you're doing something meaningless. Right? That's like a bloody hard fact that people, especially at the start of entrepreneurs, honest to themselves. And yeah, those are the two thoughts. Huge credit to Mary, but still holds. Given that this is Trump. Trump is on the stage. He's unpredictable with no revenue, right? So he can't expect anything saying that it's a long bull market versus a long bear market. No, right? He can turn around everything in a minute. Especially in this case, we have to be honest, at least to ourselves.
Yeah, thank you. To be honest, and also I know the market is very unpredictable, and the only thing we can do is just like keep building in the decentralization. So that's what we can do, what we can pray for. And thank you one more time to all our panelists, and thank you for your time. All right, clap here. Thank you. And I believe George is still here, our panelists still here. Please, our content is concluded right now at this minute. So please, go ask questions to all our speakers, and I hope you enjoy our content and insights today. And today, the Bitcoin price is 84K, and next year, if it goes to 284K, I still want to see all the familiar faces back to this group again. All right? Thank you very much.
Great to see you again, bro.
Yeah. I would say this year is going to be a big goal.
Bull market based on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Backward,
I never stand backward. There's no.
Yeah, I tried to follow the trade.
Yeah.
And I talked to friends. Sure.